Imagine a man who lived a quiet, unremarkable life until one day he stumbled upon a truth so profound, so devastating, that it threatened to unravel the very fabric of reality, a truth that powerful elites would kill to keep hidden. In a world saturated with information, how could one individual discover something so deeply buried, so utterly forbidden? What secret could possibly be worth risking everything for? And how did a seemingly ordinary man become entangled in a game far beyond his comprehension? Our story begins with Thomas, a name as unremarkable as the man himself. Thomas was an archivist, not the exciting, globe-trotting kind, but the quiet, dust-on-his-spectacles variety, buried deep within the forgotten corners of a university library. His days were a monotonous rhythm of cataloging ancient texts, digitizing crumbling manuscripts, and an almost obsessive dedication to historical minutiae. He loved the silence, the smell of old paper, the feeling of uncovering whispers from the past. But beneath this placid exterior, Thomas harbored a strange, almost compulsive curiosity, an itch to connect disparate pieces of information that no one else bothered with. He wasn't looking for grand conspiracies, he was just tidying up the historical attic, so to speak, always searching for the logical, if overlooked, links between events. His current project, a seemingly innocuous comparison of weather patterns and historical economic shifts from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. On the surface, it was a dry academic endeavor, but the more data he sifted through, the more he noticed anomalies. Not just anomalies, but patterns, subtle synchronizations that defied statistical probability. Periods of unprecedented technological leaps, societal shifts, and even global conflicts seemed to coincide with inexplicable fluctuations in certain atmospheric pressure readings from obscure, often forgotten meteorological stations. It was too precise, too frequent to be coincidence. Thomas, ever the meticulous researcher, dismissed his initial findings as statistical noise. He reran his algorithms, cross-referenced his sources, and spent countless nights fueled by lukewarm coffee and the nagging feeling that something was genuinely amiss. This wasn't just weather, it felt like a signature, a deliberate hand guiding the world from behind a shrouded curtain. He started looking for other patterns, expanding his search to include historical energy consumption, groundbreaking scientific discoveries, and even major art movements. And the same synchronicity emerged, an invisible rhythm orchestrating human progress and decline, linked to these bizarre, untraceable energy spikes. It was unnerving, to say the least, to see so much of what we consider organic human development appear to be manufactured. Then came the whispers. Not literal whispers, but veiled threats in anonymous emails, subtle nudges from his superiors to focus on more relevant research, even a suspicious break-in at his off-campus apartment where nothing was stolen, but his research notes were subtly rearranged. Someone knew he was close. Someone was watching. The innocent academic endeavor had morphed into a dangerous pursuit. Thomas, a man who once worried about misplacing a library card, now found himself constantly looking over his shoulder, double-checking locks and encrypting his files with a newfound paranoia. He realized the weather data wasn't about weather at all, but some form of colossal energy output, influencing or perhaps even manipulating fundamental aspects of human endeavor. He found references to a shadowy organization appearing in fragmented historical documents under various guises: the Clavis Institute in a 1920s philosophical text, the Ethereum Society in a forgotten 1880s scientific journal, even the Architects of Dawn in a cryptic Cold War-era intelligence memo. Their purported goal, as pieced together from these slivers of information, was terrifyingly ambitious: the deliberate shaping of human civilization, not through overt control, but through the precise, subtle application of an unknown energy source. He theorized it wasn't about global domination in the traditional sense, but about cultivating human progress along a predetermined path, accelerating or decelerating specific eras, perhaps even sparking wars or fostering peace to achieve a grand, inscrutable design. The more he pulled on these threads, the more they intertwined, forming a vast, intricate web that stretched across centuries. His research ultimately led him to the nexus point. It wasn't a physical location, but a theoretical convergence, a point in time and energy where these disparate influences coalesced. Through a complex series of calculations, cross-referencing ancient star charts with modern astronomical data, and decoding what he believed to be an esoteric form of notation embedded in Renaissance architectural designs, he pinpointed its origin, a series of structures built at significant historical junctures designed to harness and amplify this mysterious energy. These structures weren't obvious. They blended into the urban landscape, often disguised as public utilities, observatories, or even monumental art installations. He realized these weren't just energy generators, they were control towers directing the tides of history. What he had initially dismissed as noise was in fact the orchestrated pulse of human destiny. The terrifying realization solidified. Humanity wasn't merely evolving, it was being nudged, prodded, and redirected by an unseen hand. The truth wasn't just a fact, it was the ultimate illusion breaker. He had to expose it. He couldn't just pass this information to the authorities. Who could he trust? The organization had been operating for centuries, infiltrating every level of power and influence. He knew he had to make the information undeniable, public, and accessible to everyone. He developed a detailed encrypted manifesto, complete with data visualizations, historical cross-references, and the exact coordinates and functions of several existing Nexus Point substations. He named it the Kronos Report. His plan was daring, almost suicidal. He chose to upload it to a decentralized global network, setting it to release on a specific date, a dead man's switch if anything happened to him. The night he activated the final upload sequence, the air in his small apartment crackled with an unseen tension. He knew this was his last act, a desperate gamble against an enemy that had perfected the art of staying hidden. What happened next remains shrouded in mystery, a testament to the power of those who wish to keep this truth buried. On the morning the Kronos Report was scheduled to be released, Thomas was gone. His apartment was found entirely empty, not a single trace of his research, his computer, or even his personal effects. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air. The digital release of the Kronos Report was delayed, then partially suppressed. Fragments of it appeared online, whispered among fringe communities, debated fiercely in encrypted chat rooms, but never truly coalescing into a mainstream understanding. The full, devastating picture remained out of reach. Was he silenced, recruited, or did he simply manage to escape, forever living in the shadows, hunted by the very truth he uncovered? The authorities, if they were even involved, offered no answers, just the chilling silence of a case gone cold. To this day, the story of Thomas, the quiet archivist who dared to peek behind the curtain of reality, serves as a haunting reminder. A reminder that some truths are too dangerous to know, too monumental to be fully comprehended by the masses. We might never truly know the full extent of what Thomas uncovered, or how deep the rabbit hole truly goes. But the lingering question remains, are we truly free, or are our lives merely a symphony conducted by an unseen hand, playing to a tune we can only dimly perceive?